Greetings, everybody. Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Stationeers episode 52, which originally aired live on Twitch. Back. All I'm doing here is just a tiny beautification. All right, a little bit prettier. And potato. And potato. 12 potatoes already. And yes, not splitting the stack means that some of the hoppers are going to go dry. But we generate 3 times more potatoes than we plant or whatever. So it's a self-rectifying situation. So if I take these off, okay, yep. The grow lights are going too deep. But yeah, there we go. We have a automated farm. More pet tusks, huh? Oh, she's ready for that. Now let me cycle this. All right. One thing I do want to make clear about the projects that you're voting on right now. The Amy project is going to easily take me the remainder of this stream and then probably leaking over to next stream. It is even setting up a very, very basic Amy. How to preface. Amy's don't work well. They're buggy as hell. And it's going to require me to terrain modify a significant amount of Venus terrain. Which isn't necessarily the most fascinating, but do you really want me to spend about, let's say, 6 hours on an Amy? So I'm happy to show you Amy's. I'm just want to absolutely make clear that you know what you're in for. So if you want me to spend a lot of time on it, I can. If you don't, I won't. Let's do that scrubbing I was talking about. Let's just whoa, easy there, killer. Let's just scrub out the CO2 out of the base with the air scrubber so that I can breathe. So the reason I don't disagree that Amy's are important, but the thing is, if I spent the next 6 hours mining, it would be easier. Oh, don't pull everything. Jesus, scrubber. That's obviously my fault. Just open it. I can't even open it. Well, what's in here? Probably a lot of oxygen. Oh, that's my duct tape. I can't measure with duct tape. 20 moles of CO2. Oof. I'm gonna have to fix that a more elegant way. So I excuse me for my errors. If you ever make this error, here's a good example. If you ever make this error, here's how I would fix it. Grab a tank connector. Find an empty spot of your base that's flat that you can mess with. Here's fine. I think. It's hard to tell because I can't see. Yep, there's fine. And then we're just going to passive vent, remove that air out of there because I want that O2 back. Yeah, this is like the last vote being voted out. So I'll describe. Let me describe for you what would the effort that would be needed for an Amy, so that you just understand. So Amy's are little automatic mining robots, and they rove around a surface, roughly 15 cells, or like, meters around a set waypoint, mining for you. And then once they're full, they'll dump their minerals to their home spot. The trouble is, they're buggy, so sometimes they don't work. And, okay, so we've now recovered all the gases that thing stole. Well, I screwed it up, but, all right, I'll be doing this in the background while I talk about AMIs. So the problem with the AMIs is, if you have divots in your terrain, if you have like terrain, you know, if you've done some mining or whatever, one of the problems with the AMIs is they will constantly get stuck and then do nothing but idle and burn batteries as they can't move. So that's problem number one with AMI is they get caught on terrain everywhere. Basically, in this game, as a general rule of thumb, anything that has wheels sucks. I say that not that nicely, but rovers suck, AMIs suck. Anything that has to steer around the surface of the planet is going to be an unbelievably frustrating object to interact with. I'm saying that with great love for Stationeers. That is just very true, and anyone that has ever made rovers or whatever can probably attest to that. The other problem with Amy is she requires a lot of setup. So in order to make her work properly, you need to basically set up an entire external part of your base dedicated towards mineral processing, and that's a big project. So a bare minimum Amy wouldn't be that much work, but it's not likely to yield any minerals either. You're going to need to put a considerable amount of investment into the AMIs before you actually gain stuff. Okay, so now this thing is pulling carbon dioxide out of the base. There was still a little bit of oxygen and nitrogen left over, but it's not enough for me to care. And we should see the CO2, the 34 moles of CO2 that are in the base, be pulled out of the base, raising the percentage of O2 by a bit. So it'd be 303 divided by 42, or that would be the ratio. So it'd be so 42 out of 303 divided by, or 303 plus 42. Let me calculate what percent that would be. Oops, did that math wrong. 12.5%. Wouldn't actually bring it up that much. We need to generate more oxygen. So yeah, I'm happy to tackle the AMIs. It just means that I wouldn't be doing much else. So next project, we've got weather station. Mushroom farm. Oxygen supply. And I'm also going to open up the redemptions. So Glitch, I'm going to reject the AMI. I want to do other smaller projects first, and then work to the AMI. Because the AMI is going to require like significant terrain manipulation and things of that nature. All right, let me get rid of this these gases. So that's already full. Ball up. And I'm going to save in case it farts. Another thing is just the AMI code would be someone else's authoring of the code, and it might bug out. I mean, I hope it wouldn't, but it could. If you guys need suggestions for projects, more tier 2 alloys, or setting up electrolysis, gathering more water, there's a lot of stuff that I could add to this base. All right, O2 saturation has gone up. Hey, C Miner. Welcome from YouTube. Okay, let's pause that. We have enough submissions now. All right, there we are. So, Glitch, I changed yours a little bit, but for the better. That way I'm working towards an Amy goal. Hope you don't mind. Let's go check on my farm. While this thing pulls all the carbon dioxide out of the space. A part of me feels like I should like drag the portable scrubber and fart it out in my farm. But since CO2 is so readily available and cooling it down isn't too hard, I'm not going to bother. Just remember not to drop the base pressure too much. Considering the base is 80% nitrogen, at its current pressure, 80% of its current pressure, it's still not going to implode, so we're fine. Oh God, is it light in here? How many more taters do I have? 12 more. And probably 12 on the other side, I imagine. Oh, so here is an example of, because I didn't split the stacks, some of these went idle. So, what I could do is I can just split half. As long as I put in 4 stacks of seeds, the hoppers of the Harveys can't steal all of them. They'll basically take 1 stack. So what's important when you're farming is you split your stacks into 4, which is easy to do because you just split them twice. And yeah, it's tempered in here. It's 30C, which is happy for plants. We are getting a little bit of a buildup of O2, which is fine. That just means I'm making it, which is awesome. And we have a back pressure regulator at 110. We have a pressure regulator at 115. So let's have this actually decrease to 100 and decrease this to 105. Just adjusting for what it is currently. And then we're going to have a flow, which means we're going to be filtering off O2 out of this room. Yeah, you vote by just typing out a number. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like everybody else is doing. That part of the base looks amazing. Thanks. I had just spent 2 hours redesigning it after doing it offline. Huh, my food and water is exactly the same percentage. You don't see that often, other than 100%, because food and water drop at different rates. And now it's 100. Perfect. Under 35 people watching. Well, maybe there's a lot of people lurking. I don't know. Many lurk. They're just here to support. I appreciate it. Let's see. Weather station. All right, I'm going to make a very basic weather station so we can get back to additional projects. So for weather station, we need a reader, 2 writers, a reader, a writer, the station. That's about it. It's going to be pretty basic. So a reader to read the next storm number, a writer to take that information and write to an LED, and then a console to act as an LED. So 2 IOs. And then a console. If you want to, in the future, if you want to expand upon this project and have me add in more bells and whistles, that's totally fine. I'm happy to. You know what? We're gonna do a big LED. Yeah. If you want the flaxing, the klaxon alerts and the flashing stuff, that will just vote for it for later. I'm totally happy adding it in. I'm just going to make a very basic weather station now, and then if you want an advanced one, just propose it as a project. This is the song I like. Hope I don't have enough cables for this. 17? I'm probably not going to have enough cables. Could I get the weather station to turn on the beacon when there's a storm? You could. Yeah. I think it makes more sense just to have the, when this door is open, which means I'm outside, to have the beacon on. That would probably make the most sense. Because basically, why not just have the beacon on all the time? Because you can easily get lost without there being a storm, right? Like, the storm is not the prerequisite for not knowing where you're going. Alright, so here's a large LED that will display the storm timers. And then here's a reader and a writer, which will display the storm data. So this is just going to display time till storm, essentially. Very, very, very basic. And then with that information, I can do more with it if desired in the proposed projects. But I'm going to need more cables. And 3 plastic sheets to finish off the weather station itself. So if you want me to have like automatic beacon stuff, you again propose it as a project. Happy to do it. Want to have the beacon on permanently until the power becomes an issue again? I could leave the beacon on. It's just when I'm inside, I don't really need one. But I could just leave it on. Power's probably not going to become an issue ever again, I'd imagine, because it would be very, very, very difficult for me to draw down the like many megawatts that I have. I've got a lot of power. A lot of power. Oh, I hate when it does that. Split 1, 2, 3. And what else do I need? I need cabling. I don't have any cables. You hooked up klaxons and flashing lights, but you're on Mars, so sound doesn't travel well? Yes. Well, if you hooked it up in your base, I guess the klaxons, yeah, it doesn't travel very well if you have near vacuum. On Venus, it would be blaring loud. Again, I'm happy to do it. It just, I'm going to be designing everything to minimum spec, you know, and then if you want it more complicated, just re-propose it so that I can whip through the projects. Check CO2 levels. Oh yeah, my thing here is, yep, it's flashing errors. Off. So in the base, CO2 levels is 4%, oxygen is 12%. Like I said, it was going to max out at about 12.5. I did the math. Let's fart all this outside the base. It's all coming out that vent there. doesn't actually need to 0. And turn that back on. I should have saved, but didn't. This is a tested system already with the volume pump the way it is, and I think it helps that if the scrubber is off, like physically on the off position, and then its filters are fine. Cool. Yeah. No hot farts? Yeah, I know. Yeah, those hot farts were they're unfortunate. Actually, it might be easier to wire this up without it actually connected, because there's a limited amount of stuff on this network. So the import here is weather station. We're going to read next weather event time, and then this logic writer is going to read the logic reader, and then its output is going to be the LED large, and it's going to be outputting setting. Good, done. I will label those in a second. So now they should have power. Boink. No, I have a jetpack. How do you assemble this? Welding torch, okay. Oh, did I? Yes, I did. The on button is like clipped into the wall. That won't do. I can't turn it on. I mean, maybe I could turn it on from inside the base, but like, that doesn't help me really. All right, so let's not have that clip. And the redemption for proposals is up, by the way. So I can take one more now. And then we'll purge the list after this next one. All right. I didn't even read it. Just saw it submitted. Okay. There we are. Weather station's on. This needs to be rewired up to actually read from the weather station. Let me turn it off first. Oh, and the variable will be next weather time. Okay, it's all set. I just need to label it. Weather logic reader. Weather logic writer. Weather LED. So now, if there's a storm incoming, the time till the storm will display on this LED. That's all it does. It's very, very basic. Next project. Here's your 5 options. And then the list will reset. I guess I'll just keep this beacon on all the time. I do carry around the tracker on me in case. So it makes sense. As you can see, the beacon always tracked. All right, next project. Lights and sounds, huh? Okay. All right. Where is it? So we want flashing lights. Sound could be creaky pipes. That could get my attention. So very troll. So we're gonna have one flashing light. What would be alerting us? Here maybe? That's pretty obvious in the base. And then the other flashing light I'm gonna have outside. Boink. And then we're going to want to do the klaxons. Because it looks like that's going to win. So I'll close the poll. Complete. And unpause. Get speaker. That'll get me to blame the furnace. And we'll put, I wonder if that's, oh, that's upside down. All right, so here's the speaker. I'll stick there. And the light, I'll stick next to it, so it's obvious what's freaking out. So there's the speaker and the light, and then I'm gonna do another speaker and another light outside. The reason I went with one LED and not two LEDs is for the less complexity, but then you guys are adding complexity. So if you want two LEDs, I can do two LEDs. Do you want two LED timers? Yes or no? Or don't care? So the weather warning station, I'll stick up here. The alarm will be here, and the klaxon speaker will be here. All right, the next part of this project is going to be 2 memories, 3 compares. I'm just going to do in logic. So, what's going on with my phone? I don't know. Yeah, 2 logic, 3 compare, and then 2 batch writers. Or 3 processors and 2 batch writers. And then maybe another I/O, depending if you vote yes or no to this. So the only network that is going to have the klaxons, unless I get a logic transmitter, which maybe I do at some point, maybe you guys have me do logic transmission, is going to be the base. So there, it works. Let me get the 3 processors. Let me see if I have any logic IO processors or memory down here. Oh, and also, don't need that on. So we have a switch. Nah, I don't see anything like that. Nope. Okay. People don't care if there's 2 LEDs, so I won't do 2. So we need 2 mem, or this is how I want to build it. There's different ways to build it. This is how I'm building it, for better or for worse. You know, you can disagree with my build style or whatever. You're welcome to. I'm just saying this is my design. I actually came up with this playing multiplayer with friends. So here's 2 memory. We want 3 processors, and then 2 IOs. You get what you get, chat. That's a good way of putting it, Brian. You get what you get. I'm setting it up so that there's alarms and everything. Process, and then 2 IO. And then also I'm not doing it in MIPS so that people can replicate it more easily if they want to. Of course, there's no point in having klaxon speakers on the moon outside or on space outside. So if you're playing moon or space, don't bother being outside because you're not going to hear it. Sound does not carry in a vacuum. No one can hear you scream. I think I'm just going to plaster this wall with the logic. Because why not? So here's my 2 memories. And then I'm going to have 3 compare units. And then 2 batch writers. Hey, Mr. Jackal. Thanks for the resub. It's been a full year. Slaps lips when thinking? Yeah. Alright, let's get some more cables. Let's make a pile of cables. And I'll wire up the speaker and the light outside while we print up a pile of cables. Does the moon even have weather? It does not, no. I'm just saying, like, if, well, I guess by that standard, space doesn't have weather either, but I'm just saying, like, don't bother setting up speakers on the moon or in space, because they ain't gonna work. Let me out! Ah! Stupid air pressure. Okay, we'll set this up. I already know what I want for sound and all that. 100% sound, why not? Okay, done. That one's set up. And just to make sure the light works. The light works. You know what? Is that visible? Yeah, it's actually pretty visible. And I set up the LED where it is so I can see it from inside and outside. So it's, you know, I don't need 2 of them. Look at my pile of cables. All right, let me out. Whoosh. We should also check on the CO2. And maybe the plants. Okay, we're up to 50. That's probably going to be enough. $86 cables. Yep, you're full. Let me save first. before I empty it out. And then actually vacuum it out. Switch my batteries out. And how is the base air oh, that's a beacon. 1% CO2, 12% oxygen. I already calculated it would be 12.5% oxygen when all the CO2 is emptied, and well, I was right. Got that big brain. I can't even say that without giggling, because it's untrue. But okay, continuing on before I hurt my own feelings. I'm obviously going to have to connect that wire up over there before I'm done. I'm just putting the logic here because it's free real estate. Oh. So if it can't go there. Huh. I guess it's not free real estate. Personally, and you're welcome, of course, to disagree, but personally, I like to see, I don't like to hide stuff like this all the time. Like, I think it's pretty cool to have the way your base works displayed proudly, because it's like, hey, I built this. Why hide it? It's awesome. Now, the other thing is we need to make sure, let me get out my network analyzer, that all of the cables that I'm connecting to, this is a 65 device network. Wait, how is this connected to anything? Oh, I guess it, yeah, it would be, because I tied into this. So this is a 65 device network, and the cables that go out to the weather station need to be on the same network. So, is this the same 65 device network? It is. Okay, so the weather station and the logic for the weather station is on the same network, so that's all set. The other thing I need to do is to set this klaxon up, which I have to do very, very, very delicately. It means ripping out the window. So I can set up the klaxon to play the correct to play the correct sound when panic time is abound. All right, 100% volume, because that's hilarious. And done. Dropping crowbars, maybe not a bad idea. Just in case I destroy something, yes. Yeah, I wouldn't, you don't want to do too much damage, right? Let's wire these up. Oh, yeah. So 3 compare units. 2 memory. This is not the most efficient way to wire things up, but I have so much extra resources, I don't care. And 2 batch writers. Done. All right, let's label them. This is going to be the batch writer for weather, siren, batch writer, and weather lights, batch writer. This is going to be weather min warning and weather max warning. And this will be the weather min logic compare, weather max logic compare, and weather, let's call it alert logic compare. Okay. So, here's what we want to do. We want to compare the minimum here is going to be the... So here's the problem. When there's no storms coming, it reads his next storm as 0. So you want to set your minimum to at least greater than 0. So I'm going to say 1, and I'm going to say maximum warning 90. So I want, or let's say, yeah, 90's fine. So these two memory settings is basically, I want the lights and the sirens to be on between 90 seconds to 1 second up into a storm. If you didn't have a minimum, you'd have to do it some other way, because what ends up happening is your weather station throws a 0, meaning that your sirens and your lights would be on all the time, which is just really, really annoying. So that's the purpose of the minimum. The purpose of the maximum is when you have a storm, you're given sort of a random amount of alert. It could be 5 minutes of warning. It could be 11 minutes of warning. You don't necessarily want 11 minutes of sirens. So this number here, and maybe I even bring this down to like 30 seconds. This number here is just during the countdown timer up into the storm is when you start getting alerts or whatnot. We'll do a full minute. We'll do 1 full minute. So I get a 1 minute warning if storms are coming. So the compare unit here is going to be making sure that the weather reader, so the input here is going to be the weather reader. Weather logic reader is greater than the minimum. Weather logic min warning weather logic memory, which it fails because the weather is a 0 and the minimum is a 1. So it's saying basically 0 is greater than 1, not true, so 0. Then this maximum here is going to be the same thing. It's going to be weather logic reader less than maximum. So let's get the weather logic reader less than the max warning, which it is true because 0 is less than 60. And then this last compare unit is going to compare min and max together. So min compare is equal to max compare. So when min compare and max compare equal one another, we will fire out the alerts. So the only time that this compare unit and this compare unit are equal to one another is when they're both true. Hang on, I need some water. So that means that, and I'll run through the logic here. If, let's say, the storm is 30 seconds, so let's pretend the storm data is 30 seconds. This is going 30 seconds is greater than 1, true, and 30 seconds is less than 60, true. Then this compared unit would then fire true, which then we will use this weather alert logic compare as input. Weather alert logic compare. And then the output types is every single klaxon on the network and every single flashing every single klaxon and every single flashing light will be turned on by these batch riders. So if we want other klaxon or sirens, we will have to fix these batch riders in the future. All right, so weather alert logic compare. There it is. Output type. What, am I not close enough? Oh, because the data, it's not actually connected to data. Ooh, yeah, that will do it. Just for continuity's sake, I'll connect these up. So it looks nicer. All right, so input, weather alert logic compare, output to all flashing lights, they're on state. Done. So let's run through this with logic. And I guess I never really updated weather station, sirens, and lights. There. So let's say the storm data is reading a 120. This is going to be true. This is going to be false. So the alerts aren't signaled. If it reads a 0, this is going to be false. This is going to be true. The alerts aren't signaled. If it's between 1 or 60, all the lights and all the sirens turn on. We are done. So if you have any suggestions for next project, drop it in the inbox, because this project's done. I can't prove it that it works until we have a storm upcoming, but you will hear alert noises. Actually, you know what? I have to change the alert noise. I think Glitch and Cheese know what the alert noises are, but I'm actually a little worried that the alert noise is a DMCA violation, and I don't want copyright strikes on my YouTube channel. So we're gonna change that. I'm not certain about the alerts I'd pick. I'll put it that way. At least I thought of it, Glitch, right? So let's do... Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick one out, or I'm going to pick one out. I'm not even going to have you all vote on it. Sorry. So let's set this to not equals, which triggers the system. So this is a good system test. Yeah, it works. Oh yeah, Shield would know what it is too. I like, actually, this alert works for me. So if you're wondering, the one I had picked previously was the, what is it? The Flight of the Valkyries? But Alarm 8 isn't so shrill. I can live with Alarm 8. So comparing it, this should be equals, not equals. With the Charge of the Valkyries, what is it called? I should know, right? All right, so let's set the outside one to alert 8. Yeah, I don't know if it would do a DMCA by the alarm, but the alarms do play full songs. So there's a possibility that I could get a copyright strike as a result. Ride of the Valkyries. Thank you, Brian Weaver. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I was going to use, but then I realized, yeah, that actually might be a copyrighted piece of something or another. So, all right, so now it's alert 8. It's that deep alarm. And I'm going to check on the farm again, because the farm is automatic. But because I wanted to build in a way for me to switch seeds, I do have to periodically check in, which is fine. it does most of the work for me, and I'll end up with so many more potatoes than I know what to do with, and then I'll change over to other crops, right? I don't need to be monocropping. But the submission, yeah, okay, the submissions are open. Good. So if you have an idea for next project, hit me up. Oh, we must have grabbed all the carbon dioxide at this point, because that's a network analyzer. This scrubber is, or not all of it, but most of it, because the scrubber seems to be idle. Okay, that's still on. To the farm. Yes, I keep warning YouTube that I'm like 30 hours ahead on Twitch or so. And unless I want to stop streaming this for like a month and a half, there's not much I can do about that. I'll be taking 5 or 6 project goals, and then I'll pull you all as to what you want. So if you have channel points. Oh, also, if the cost of the submitting projects is putting you off, I can lower the cost. That's no problem. So just tag me, be like, hey, it's too expensive. All right, so here's an example of the hoppers running out of potatoes, right? Oh, actually, we even have a stack of 20 over here. And then what's left? Oh, just up to 21. So if I wanted to switch the crop that the left side is making, I could do that. And then we have 40 potatoes on this side? Damn! It's an automatic farm. You don't need a lot of Harveys to really automate this process. And I do really enjoy watching the potatoes that are in the hopper spinning around. There's something very enjoyable about just watching those potatoes fly around. And we're gaining oxygen here, but the atmospheric pressure in this room has dropped. Part of that is just because I have such a long run of carbon dioxide, so I could fix that with a digital valve, or replace it, or fix it with well, digital valve and volume pumps, something like that. But let's change the crop on the left side over to soy. So I'm gonna go get some soybeans. Cyclotron potato accelerator. Yeah, that's what it is. I dropped the price channel point wise. So we've got 3 point redemptions so far. Okay, there's just trace CO2 now. 4 of them, 1 more. They'll have you all pulled. There we go. Now let's type these up, pick what we're doing next. I hope we get a storm soon, just to be able to demo our work. So we got make tier 2 alloys, automate Atmo sipping. So automate Atmo sipping would be automating our atmospherics to turn on and off depending on external temperatures and pressure tolerances of our tanks. Just to explain that. Add more X to coolant. Automate door beacon. So the automate door beacon is that the beacon turns on when the external door is open. And then last one, I can't do that, but so we'll do 4. Unless you guys, well, we'll just do 4. And you can, you know, submit more if you want. Come on, storms. Where's my storms at? So there's something I'm going to work on. Brahms, I'm going to reject that because I'm really not a good MIPS teacher. So if you want to learn MIPS, you're going to have to watch a different content creator or like actually take a online course on MIPS. I don't know MIPS well enough to feel like I can sufficiently teach it, is I guess the best way to put it. And I've spoken about this a lot. All right, so I'm turning off the logic gas rider so that I can turn on this gas mixer. Oh, I put stuff in my way. That way I can start to measure what the yield of the farm is. Oh, another thing I should check is these filters are... Oh yeah, these are medium filters, they're fine. So now we're gonna slowly be building up oxygen in here that is sipped from the farm, if the farm is sipping. The other issue is because of this long pipe network, the farm actually might not be sipping all that much. I would need to separate out the farm in volume digital valves or whatever, which is a little weird. That's just the way the game is coded. So automate Atmos sipping is the next project. So what we really need to do to figure out Atmos sipping is, I would say, we need to figure out if we have space for nitrogen and hydrogen. So thinking about that, we're going to need to read the tank here. We're going to need to read the information of pressure off of those. So that's probably the first step. Now, if we take a look at the pipe readers here, or this is a little bit of a complicated project only because of the things involved. So if you take a look here at the tank connectors, these tank connectors do not have native pressure or native data ports, right? You've been watching Stationeers, which originally aired live on Twitch. The Twitch series has long ended, but there's still about 18 hours yet to air, something like that. If you have any feedback for me about this series, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has the information you need. It has links to Twitch, to Discord, my countdown timers, and my stream schedule. Thank you so very much for watching. Farewell.